Holy Paladin. We're doing Lightsmith. We're doing Lightsmith, guys. There is quite a few bugs right now with Paladin. We're doing Lightsmith. Divine Toll gets replaced by Sacred Weapons, which is great because Divine Toll doesn't heal right now. It's bugged in beta. I heard Hammer of Wrath doesn't proc Ethereal Legacy, so that's a little bit cringe, so we're not playing that either. But we're gonna see. Lightsmith, Holy Paladin, the new Apex talents. Ooh, I'm not even close to them. The new Apex talents, an additional beacon, an additional Baconator. There's been a lot of changes in how Blizzard... Ooh, I popped the wrong one here. I forgot my key points. You have to remember, I'm running AC here, so you can see AC changes. Or Avenging Crusader, it changes my... I need to Judgment. It gives me... Crusader Strike Back! Crusader Strike Back. I am misplaying a lot of this here. So there is a loop here that you have right now. There is a gameplay loop. A very evident gameplay loop that you have. You don't have Crusader Strike by default. You only have it if you spec into Avenging Crusader. So now you have this whole... You might ask yourself, hey MadSkillz, if I don't have Crusader Strike, do I have a bunch of dead time where I'm not doing anything? Well, Timmy, Blizzard decided that they want you to make Judgment and Holy Shock your big gameplay loop. Pressing Judgment, having it on cooldown. Pressing Holy Shock reduces the cooldown of Judgment. Pressing Shield of Righteous reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock. Pressing Holy Shock reduces the cooldown of Judgment. Judgment critical strikes give you Hammer and Anvil healing. Judgment critical strikes makes your next Word of Glory automatically activate Light of Dawn. So now, with this gameplay loop, you have a bunch of passive healing. Do I want to say passive healing or maybe incidental healing? So you have this whole thing now where if Judgment's on cooldown, I want to press Holy Shock, or again, depending on situations, right? We'll see how this is going to turn out. But there is a huge synergy with Judgment and Lightsmith that makes it kind of interesting. Actually, I shouldn't say interesting, because I actually think I need healing. Judgment, Holy Shock. We're spending our Holy Power, Judgment, offensive Holy Shock, offensive Holy Shock. I'm moving too fast. Judgment, I messed up people here. Offensive, we're healing. We're gonna use our Blessing with Dispelling Poison. We're gonna pop our AC. I'm actually not sure what the gameplay loop is with AC in terms of what the prio is of the rotation exactly. Because when you pop AC, you get Crusader Strike, and Crusader Strike reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock. But you also heal people with Crusader Strike and Judgment because of AC, so I'm not 100%, but you get the gist of it, right? And if there's no healing needed, I use Shield of the Righteous. Shield of the Righteous is going to give me reduced cooldown on Holy Shock, which again allows me to use Holy Shock, which in turn allows me to use Judgment, which in turn procs with Judgment crits. I'm getting healing from Hammer and Anvil, and I'm getting healing from Ethereal Legacy, which in turn keeps the party alive. I time the key, rank 1, let's go. Shield of Righteous, Judgment, Holy Shock, Shield of Righteous, Judgment, Shield of Right. Okay, I have a lot of holy power here right now. I'm Dispelling Poison. I'll be completely honest with you. The amount of passive healing that this provides is actually quite high. I've tested every single healer so far, and I can tell you that look at right now, like there are times where I barely have, like I spend a lot of my time on just pressing offensive abilities like Shield the Righteous, offensively using Judgment, offensively using Holy Shock, I actually think, and this is gonna come across like blasphemy, but I actually think Holy Paladin is quite strong in this current build. Again, maybe this fight just works really well. You can see my overall Holy Bulwark, brought to the light, killing an enemy. It's okay. Beacon, Hammer and Anvil. Oh yeah, your Apex talent also gives you like basically a third beacon. So that's something else to consider as well. But I've been having a surprisingly... I think this healer is doing quite well in terms of pure numbers, but the thing is that I've mainly been testing Algeth'ar Academy. I don't know what it's going to feel like in a really healing intensive fight, but I don't know. I'm not hating the performance of this. There are times, you see, there are times, and I think this is why people kind of don't like this. There are times where maybe my judgment is on cooldown, my holy shock is on cooldown. Maybe I'm not in melee, I can't press my shield of righteous, people are taking damage. I might be using something like holy light. And I know people don't like that. I know people don't like if you look at Holy Paladin right now, think about what's been taken away. So you don't have Crusader Strike, you don't have Interrupt, Consecration is procced from Judgment. Like, I don't manually proc Consecration. So when you really think about it, what is the reason for me to stay in melee? So the main reasons to stay in melee right now is Shield of Righteous, and or if you spec into something like Avenging Crusader. So you could make an argument, and maybe to play around your mastery, like I guess it depends on how many people are staying in melee and stuff like that, to step in your mastery, but you could make an argument that you could play Paladin in ranged, and I know there's a huge split community for Paladins. There are Holy Paladins who long the days of caster Holy Paladin. There are Holy Paladins who long the day of the pure instant healing Holy Paladin. Let me know. Which side are you on in this case? Alright, Judgment, Shield of Righteous, Holy Shock, Judgment, Holy Shock, Shield of Righteous. I gotta heal people here, Judgment. At the first time I was testing out Holy Paladin, I kept pressing my Consecration button. And I was really surprised about how many Judgments you're getting, because you're pressing Judgment, Holy Shock, maybe Shield of Righteous, Holy Shock, Judgment, your Holy Power Spender in between and stuff like that, and you're getting so many Judgments, and I wasn't used to that. I was not used to that. As well, again, we talked about the Apex. Ooh, I need to do healing here, bro. I was a little bit plebby here. I need to test Holy Paladin in some really heavy healing fights. I did try out builds with normal wings, without Avenging Crusader, and it still felt fine as well. I feel like you can run both of those right now. Keep in mind, Holy Paladin is quite bugged. Like, if you want to play Divine Toll, like if you're playing Herald, and you're playing Divine Toll, it doesn't work, it doesn't heal. So, I feel like that's not really testable at this given moment, but we'll see. And my mana is also basically, you saw this so far. My mana, I don't think I've fallen behind 95% mana, but that's the thing. If the fights were more healing, if the fights required more healing, I would probably have to sometimes press more of Holy Light. And Holy Light is going to be a heal that you can use that is relatively expensive for those oh crap moments when you don't have a lot of the other things and blah blah blah. So my mana would go down if I was forced to press Holy Light a bit more. But right now I'm not really forced to do that. Because, again, this boss is just not a good example of this. But a lot of my passive healing and my holy armaments, the shielding and all of that is just taking care of everything right now. Like, this fight just doesn't require any healing. The good old Holy Bulwark, Hammer and Anvil, my beacon, this is the Apex talents. Blizzard intention is here that you won't feel, or you should not feel like there's too many gaps in the rotation, because you have Holy Shock to reduce the cooldown of Judgment, because you have talents like Crusader's Might, which I'm running right now. And Shield of Righteous reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock. So you have this 1-2-3 rotation. Again, I talked about my build at the start of the video. I'm sure there's going to be other builds. I'm not really testing Herald. I probably won't be testing Herald for a little while until some of the bugs are fixed, because I feel like it's just not worth it. But Lightsmith overall has been doing pretty well. It's been doing pretty well. I am playing with Beacon of Fate. I'm sure you can play Virtue and still have a good time. I'm sure. Next week I will be... So this is what I do for healer testing. I pick one dungeon. And I test every single healer in that dungeon. And I decided to do Algeth'ar Academy purely because of familiarity. Right? Because I'm not really sure with like Pit of Saron, Skyreach. I can't remember those. Let's go, Holy Paladin. Again, this one was a little bit scuffed. We're trying to do a couple of things. I definitely think with Lightsmith Paladin, like, there's so many moments where just pressing my judgment, just like, there's so many moments just where passive abilities end up taking care of the healing requirements, where I might not have to use my holy power or spells on... I might use it for DPS. I might use it for Shield of the Righteous, right? Obviously, it depends on the boss fight, it depends on the mobs and all those things. On really healing intensive fights, you probably will end up using Holy Light and things like that, which is going to maybe take away from that, or some of that melee gameplay, but there's a lot of people who also like the caster gameplay. I think the biggest takeaway is the current gameplay with the build that I'm running that focuses on Judgment and Holy Shock, the loss of Crusader Strike. I mean, the loss of Crusader Strike should be offset by the cooldown reduction you're getting on Judgment, so Judgment becomes a bigger part of your rotation, right? I'm actually healing here. I need to test out Herald of the Sun when it becomes less buggy. When Divine Toll also gets fixed. Hammer of Wrath also needs to be fixed. But I think Paladin is above average in terms of power at this current state, at least Lightsmith Paladin. In terms of gameplay, I feel like I just need to test it a bit more, or I need to know your opinions on this. Let me see the overall. This is the overall. Holy Bulwark, Word of Glory, Beacon of Light, Holy Shock, Hammer and Anvil, Light of Dawn. This is your Apex talents. Again, Light of Dawn, I didn't cast a single Light of Dawn. Keep that in mind. Light of Dawn, this Light of Dawn is purely proccing from Ethereal Legacy. With Judgment Critical Strikes, empower your next Word of Glory to automatically activate Light of Dawn on 125% effectiveness. So I'm basically getting these two things right here are basically all Judgment related. So this is what I mean about pressing Judgment as much as possible and hoping for crits. There's a lot of crit emphasis with the Lightsmith playstyle as well. But I thought it was actually, again, I mentioned this throughout the time. I mentioned this throughout the thing. I think Paladin feels pretty decent in terms of power. Gameplay wise, I honestly want to know your opinion. How do you feel about this gameplay loop? How do you feel about, again, we're going to try out Herald of Sun later on. Are you going to play Holy Paladin in Midnight? Or maybe you think something should be changed? Let me know.